right shoulder. This one's got to be right on his right shoulder. That coverage is fine. See how it pulls him to the sideline away from the defender? I really enjoyed that from Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin with a big smile there. You don't blame him. That one lobbed to the sideline for McLaurin, well out of reach, though. They end the first drive with no points. Commanders drive, this is the next one, trailing 7-0. Daniels faking the handoff, and he tucks it himself. That athleticism.
Yeah, and how much are they going to do it with Cliff Kingsbury, that designed quarterback run? Some of the play action stuff, the quick hitting one where you ball fake and he gets it out quickly, and protecting that tight end without kind of exposing his body for that completion's a big deal.
John Bates right there. 4 plays later in the second quarter, Daniels dropping it back, and that to Bates again on the sideline for 4 yards. They're short of the first down. Here's Dan Quinn today on naming the starting quarterback for the Commanders.
He went through the whole thing. He didn't miss a beat, hit the targets that, we had put in front of him. We talked about the practices against the other teams, the games, so he's ready and he's earned the right to do that. Apologies for having you come up with new storylines for today, but Jayden Daniels is our starting quarterback.
Just joy and happiness to be able, like I said, to live out a dream that I dreamt about. Everything in life is you got to earn it. Nothing's given. So what DQ and them preach here is competition, and you got to earn it. You got to earn your right to stay. You got to earn your right on the field and into position. So be able to go out there and compete, and makes everybody better. So what they preach, and they hold true to that.
Jayden Daniels will be the 8th different Week 1 starter for the Commanders in the last 8 seasons. This list includes Sam Howell, Carson Wentz, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Dwayne Haskins, Case Keenum, Alex Smith, and Kirk Cousins, who was the last person to start consecutive Week 1s for Washington. That's the most different Week 1 starters by any team in the last 8 seasons, assuming Anthony Richardson starts Week 1 for the Colts. You guys were taking pictures of that.
That's crazy. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's wild. Nina, we've now gotten to see a little bit more of this Cliff Kingsbury offense there in Washington. How do you think it's fitting with Jayden Daniels so far? Because that was one of our big questions going in.
It is, and that's what I found interesting about this. It was, by the way, so funny to watch those highlights after Caleb's, because it was a good example of how, both quarterbacks playing wildly different offenses can play really well when they're asked to do wildly different things. But in the case of Daniels, it was obviously clear that they went into this game with the intention of getting the ball quickly out of his hands. You saw, Dan alluded to this, RPOs, that quick hitting play action from the gun I thought was really interesting, because he's going to live in the gun. And Dan, what this sort of showed me, and you never want to take too much out of the preseason, is Cliff Kingsbury is going to lean on a lot of this, I think, to mitigate what I feel will be issues with this offensive line. We will see a lot of quick game, because Jayden Daniels is very decisive. He is accurate when he throws the ball quick as well. We will see a lot of RPOs. We will see that quick hitting play action, pairing that with, I think, strong rushing attack led by Brian Robinson. To me, that's going to be a huge part of this offense, not just because those are college concepts we saw Jayden Daniels do well at LSU, but because it'll allow them to, address what I feel will be issues in pass protection on longer developing plays.
We're talking about Cliff Kingsbury, right? They also hired Anthony Lynn from the 49ers to coach their run game. So they're going to be physical, running the football, and they're going to run the football to complement the passing game that Cliff Kingsbury instituted.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting. You saw some no huddle this week as well. So, I think Washington's very aware, really good quarterback, and they've got pretty darn good perimeter players. So if they can get that offensive line to play at a plus level, they got a chance to have a good offense. I think the biggest question for me, MK, is going to be this. Jayden handled a lot of the protection stuff at LSU. He would make protection changes and whatnot. Cliff, that's not necessarily a big part of his offense, and especially when you're playing with tempo. Laura, you played that highlight, but he gets this off-ball defender to pressure, and more often than not, you throw into the pressure. There's 2 guys open. Jayden just drifts back, and basically this is a wasted play. It's almost like a long foul ball. How much does the comfort level between those 2 guys get to be on the same page with that? When teams start to give them different pressures, is Jayden going to be good enough to change the protection? Because when I watched that one, I said, well, Jayden obviously realizes it's coming. He feels the pressure, he drifts, and then he just throws it out of bounds. And my question is, how much are they going to empower him? How much can he handle? And then will they be able to handle some of those unique pressures he's going to see in the NFL that he was capable of doing it at LSU, because it's not necessarily Cliff's DNA?
Yeah, you got to think that it's going to grow with time too. You
Sure.
know, give him a little bit more as they go. And
Yeah,
you also
and how
wonder-
much he's capable of handling it. But it has to be within the foundational.
Stop everything. The entire NFL world is holding its breath right now because Washington Commanders have just made a decision that could redefine the entire future of the franchise. Jayden Daniels, a rookie fresh off a Heisman-winning college season, has been named the starting quarterback. Yes, you heard that right. Washington has thrown all their chips on the table, and the stakes could not be higher. This is a move that could either send shockwaves of success throughout the NFL or lead to a monumental collapse. Jayden Daniels, the no. 2 overall pick, has suddenly been thrust into the most crucial role on the team. But is he ready? Is he really the answer to Washington's long-standing quarterback dilemma? The entire season, the future of this franchise, perhaps even the careers of those who made this decision, are all hanging in the balance. Let's be clear, this isn't just any decision. This is a gamble that could either propel Washington to glory or become the defining moment of failure for years to come. The secrecy around this decision has been maddening. 2 weeks ago, Dan Quinn dodged every question, avoiding any commitment. What was he hiding? And why the sudden announcement now? Did they think they could outsmart the rest of the league by keeping this under wraps? Were they trying to confuse their opponents, forcing everyone to waste time preparing for Marcus Mariota? The timing of this is raising more questions than answers. The air of uncertainty surrounding the Commanders has fans and analysts alike wondering what is really going on in Washington. Let's talk about the announcement itself. They called Jayden Daniels the starting quarterback, not our starting quarterback. That phrasing feels deliberate, and it screams hesitation. Is there a lack of confidence in this decision? Are the Commanders themselves unsure if this is the right move? The wording is unsettling, and it reflects the weight of this decision. It's almost as if they're preparing to backtrack if things don't go as planned. And here's the kicker: Daniels has been named the starter, but he's not even playing in the next preseason game. What? This is supposed to be his moment to prove himself, to take charge of the offense, to lead this team. Instead, they're telling him to sit on the sidelines. What kind of strategy is this? Are they protecting him from failure, or are they afraid of what might happen if he steps on the field too soon? This move feels reckless, like they're gambling with the most important position on the team without fully committing to their choice. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is watching closely, and some teams must be silently thanking their lucky stars they didn't make the same decision. Caleb Williams is out there doing Mahomes-like things, and now Washington has to live with the fact that they didn't take him. Did they just pass on the next great NFL quarterback? Did they miss their chance at drafting the league's next MVP because they rushed into this decision with Daniels? The regret could be devastating. And think about this: how often do you get a chance to correct a mistake in the NFL? Almost never. But Washington doubled down, and now they're all in with Daniels. Future considerations might have been better than the original trade, but will that be enough to justify this decision? Every time Daniels struggles, every time he faces adversity, the voices questioning this choice will grow louder. This could become a defining failure, a move that haunts the franchise for years to come. And it's not just Daniels at the center of this gamble. Washington also used their pick on Romad Dunn, who alongside Daniels pulled off one of the most jaw-dropping plays of the preseason. But is that enough? Sure, the highlights are exciting, but what about when the regular season kicks off and the stakes are real? Can these rookies carry the weight of a franchise that has been starving for success for years? The Commanders are betting big on unproven talent, and the fallout could be catastrophic if they're wrong. Meanwhile, Bo Nix has already solidified his spot in Seattle, looking impressive against the Packers. He's settled in, showing the kind of stability that Washington desperately needs. And then there's Penix, who isn't playing the rest of the preseason because Seattle is keeping him in bubble wrap, literally protecting their investment. Washington, on the other hand, is throwing their rookie quarterback into the fire without a second thought. Is this brave, or is it pure recklessness? The NFC East is no place for a rookie to find their footing. This division is brutal, home to some of the most punishing defenses in the league. The Eagles, the Cowboys will be coming for Daniels every single week. Has Washington done enough to protect him? Have they built the right support system, or are they setting him up for failure? The stakes here are sky high, and the pressure is immense. One wrong move, one bad game, and everything could start to unravel. Is Jayden Daniels really ready for this? This decision will define the Commanders' future. Either Jayden Daniels rises to the occasion and leads Washington to the promised land, or this move becomes one of the most disastrous miscalculations in recent memory. The franchise is at a crossroads, and the entire NFL is watching to see what happens next. The clock is ticking, the pressure is mounting, and the Washington Commanders have made their move. Will it be remembered as the moment they turned the corner toward greatness, or will it be the beginning of a long, painful decline? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: Jayden Daniels and the Commanders are about to face the fight of their lives, and the outcome will echo through the NFL for years to come.